We're going to now start with our post-race press conference with our race winner, Christopher Bell. We'll go ahead and take questions for Christopher. If you have one, raise your hand. We'll work to get a mic to you. To kick us off, I'm going to start up in the press box with our first question. Go ahead, press box.
Christopher, it's Bob Francis, Go Full Throttle Racing News. Tell us about your mindset going into that restart at 4 to go.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was going to be a 50-50 call for Brad, and we knew it was going to be a race between who had fresh tires and who could get to the lead first. And Brad had a tough decision to take the bottom or take the top. He ended up taking the top. I got the bottom, and then those two guys just on old tires, it was super hard to get the car to stick around the bottom, and they just kind of slid up, and it was a perfect storm for me. So. Once I got the lead, it wasn't the prettiest thing. Those last couple of laps, I started really struggling to, hit the line, and I was sliding around a lot, and Brad was able to run right up to me. So, I hope it was a good race for the fans. It was too close for comfort inside the car, but that's what makes it a really good race.
All right, we're going to come downstairs. We'll start up here with Bob.
Bob Pockers, Fox Sports. Were you an angry Christopher Bell coming in here, and is that a good thing?
I don't know. I don't know if I was angry or not. I don't think I was, but maybe. I mean, it just goes to show that any week it could happen, and I'm just so proud of this entire 20 group. Adam, my engineers, my mechanics, my pit crew. This was a total team win. I mean, with all the pit stops that we did, if you had one mishap, you were going to be in trouble. And this race, a lot of fortune went into winning this race. Making the right pit strategies, putting tires on at the right time, and making sure that you had a set of tires laying. And Adam and the engineers did an amazing job of calling the right calls at the right time, and it worked out for us this week.
And with Gibbs sweeping the first 3 races of the playoffs, is there any sort of swagger or feel that the championship is going to go through your organization?
Yeah, I mean, it sure appears to be that way, and it's just all the Toyotas are super fast right now. And I think I said it last week in my post-race interview that this is the best race cars I've had to drive in the Cup Series compared to the competition in my career. And, I think it goes from Joe Gibbs Racing to 2311. They've been really good. Even the legacy cars have had an amazing performance, the last couple of weeks. So that's the good news. The bad news is that we're not running Phoenix next week, and there's still a long way to go to get there. So, I can promise you, whenever we get to Phoenix, it's not going to be a runaway. And no matter what no matter who's in that Final Four, it's always a dogfight. It's always, a good race. So, we are in a really good spot right now. We as in the Toyota group, and specifically Joe Gibbs Racing. But we got a long way to go to get to Phoenix, and it's going to be a hard road, and everybody knows that.
All right, we'll go to Jordan.
Jordan Bianchi, The Athletic. When did you know as a driver that this race was going to be what it was in terms of tire wear?
So that's a really good question. I don't know. I keyed up on the radio. I think it was probably lap 20, 25. I had a couple weird moments inside the car that caught me off guard. So whenever the track is behaving normally and it's taking rubber, you can slide the car around and it just feels different. And I had a really big slip, lap 1 or 2, and then a couple laps or lap 20, 30 into the run. I'm like, man, I'm losing grip in a hurry here. And I keyed up and I said, I think we might have tire issues. And then I just saw the landmine of marbles up the racetrack, and that's all she wrote. So, I thought NASCAR did a phenomenal job officiating the race this week compared to the last time or the first time that it happened and the last time it happened. I thought it was really fair, and I applaud them for allowing us to run through the green flag cycles, and I think that's what puts on a really good show whenever you get into these circumstances.
You pride yourself on being a driver who wins cleanly. If Brad had succeeded in knocking you out of the way, how would you have felt about that move, especially here at Bristol?
I mean, I don't know. I'm glad I don't have to think about it, but to be honest, I expected it. Like, he ran me down from however long it was, 3 car lengths, 4 car lengths, and yeah, I mean, those last 3 laps, they were not my prettiest 3 laps I've run in my career, but it was good enough to get to the checkered flag first. And I knew that he was going to be really aggressive, really hungry. Obviously, his team had a bummer start to the year, but they've been performing well and been on the brink of victory lane, and they were again tonight. So I knew that he was going to throw everything at it.
You said you expected it, so you anticipated it. Did you prepare for the bump? How did you keep the car straight? Was that just circumstance?
I don't really remember. I think I backed my corner up a little bit, just trying to stay under the tires a little bit more. Those last 3 laps, I got the lead, and then we're on right sides, and I guess I just had less grip than I was anticipating, and I could not, get my car to stick around the bottom. So, I tried to stay under the tires and give me a little bit more room so that whenever he hit me, I could, not spin out and crash. So, it worked out.
All right, we're going to continue with questions. We're going to go to Dustin and then Holly. I'm going to try to get to everybody. Just be patient. There's a lot of hands up.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. What does winning mean? How important was winning at this point?
I mean, winning is that's what makes your career. That's what makes your status in the industry. That's literally everything. And in order to make it in the sport, you have to win. So, frankly, I haven't won enough. Win 12 or 13 in my career. That's not enough, and I need to win more. But it starts with, every win gets it up a tick. So that's good. I'm glad that we got this one tonight. But yeah, the winning is literally everything, and that's what it's all about.
So, how much does it solve things, and how much is there still to do, because this was just one race and this was a unique race?
Well, winning fixes everything, that's for sure. It's a huge morale boost for the team and, myself as a driver. But certainly what we experienced tonight will mean nothing on what we have for the rest of the year. This race is completely unique to itself, the way that the tires behaved and the race played out, the strategy calls. Like, you cannot take anything from this and apply it to anywhere else. But, it's just, winning is very important in this sport, and it feels good to get another one.
All right, Holly, go ahead.
Hi, Christopher. Holly Kane with the NASCAR Wire Service. I was going to ask you something very similar to what Dustin did, but to win when you have at the beginning of the year, to kind of establish, hey, we're going after this, and then now to start the playoffs like this, 3 races in, would you concede at least that you guys are back where you want to be and that you are showing that you can bring it when you need to?
Well, I will say, even though we didn't win throughout the summer, I went to the racetrack thinking every week that we could win, and so while the results don't match, what I was feeling, I think that this week shows that is true. Like, every single week we go to the racetrack, we have the opportunity to win if we put everything together and we do the right stuff. And it happened tonight. It might happen at Loudon. It might not happen at Loudon. But, even through the bits of the schedule that we didn't run well, we didn't finish well, I every time we went to the racetrack, I thought that we had potential to win if we did everything right.
And going to Loudon where you've won so much, I imagine that's a good thing too, right? For that to be the next race.
Yeah, I mean, I'm obviously excited about Loudon. It's a great track for us. Super important race, kicking off the round of 12. So we need to go there and most importantly have get a lot of points, score a lot of points. Got to qualify well. Got to qualify better than we've been qualifying, and have a great race. And I think we're every bit as capable as any of the other 12 out there. So it's it's a good racetrack for us as a group, and we know what it takes to be good there, and it seems like our cars are, really good. So I'm looking forward to the challenge ahead.
All right, we're going to continue with questions. Do me a favor. try to keep your questions as tight as you can, just because we're getting a little long-winded. So let's continue. We'll go to Jacob and then Zach. Go ahead, Jacob.
Jacob Zillman, Race Face Digital. Christopher, two for you. First, just want to clarify something, make sure I understood what you said earlier. You guys were on fresh rights at the end of the race?
That's correct.
Were you and Adam, as this was going through the second half, were you guys kind of playing this as really feeling like, okay, this is going to come down to hopefully having fresh tires as late as possible?
So, you know, while this race is very unique, it is also similar to the races that we've had the option tire at, being Richmond and Phoenix. Maybe those are the only two places we've done the option tire. But yeah, whenever that happens, you have to have a set of tires laying for what happened tonight. And, you know, if you don't have a set of tires laying in the pits, you're not going to win if a yellow flag comes out. So, you know, we paid the price a little bit, not a little bit. We paid the price huge in the third stage there. Whenever we put 9-lap scuffs on, we went all the way back to the back. And that we did that in order to save a set of stickers for the end. And you had to have them on that green, white, or the 4 to go or whatever to win the race.
And you won here on the dirt a couple years ago, but you're a short track guy, and you've made no bones for years that if there was one race on the schedule you wanted, it was arguably this one. How big is tonight, and how good does it feel to finally have the sword from the night race?
Yeah, the Bristol night race has been my favorite for a long time. And, you know, just the pre-race ceremonies, all the you know, Bristol Motor Speedway just does such a good job of making this event feel unique, feel special, and it's a big one. So this one is definitely high on the list to win.
All right, we're going to continue with questions. Go ahead, Zach.
Zach Sterniolo, NASCAR.com. To the point of Bob's first question, coming in here after last week's discussions with Adam and whatnot, I know we talked about that a lot yesterday, but how does a night like tonight reinforce the professionalism, the resiliency of yourself, Adam, and this whole 20 team?
I think it just goes to show that any week it could happen. And I got really frustrated last week because we had an opportunity to win and we didn't win. And we've had several opportunities to win throughout the summer, and we didn't win. But every week we can do it. And Adam, while I was frustrated with the calls last week, he nailed every call this week, and we ended up in victory lane. So you're going to have that. And tonight was just a perfect example of everybody, you know, doing the right things and you know, not making mistakes and keeping us in it. And we got the fruit of that.
In that regard, you said yesterday this is probably the biggest question mark you've felt coming into a cup race. Once you started experiencing those early slides, how much are you relying on information from your crew chief, from your spotter, to understand what you need to do, or is it just an instinctual thing that you have behind the wheel to know how to make those tires live?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a lot of conversation between you and your crew chief, and just asking him, like, hey, what is the plan here? And there are so many people on different strategies and different plans. Like, you know, we had a 125 lap stage, and all of a sudden people are having tire issues like lap 30. They're like, okay, are we going to 2-stop this? Are we going to 1-stop this? Do you need me to go hard? Do you need me to, how long do I have to make these tires last? And then, you know, it's that I think we ended up trying to be on a 1-stop strategy, which meant you needed to get to around lap 60. And then I got to 45 and I was out of tires. So at that point we had to pit, and then we're trying to go 70 laps or whatever it is on the next set. And it's a lot of communication, and you got guys that are saving super hard. You got guys that are dying on really old tires. You have guys on stickers. It's chaos, and hopefully, you know, I think it shows well. It has to, you know, look good, but it's total chaos, and that's whenever it's fun. You know, it's not as fun whenever everybody's on the same tires and you're just riding around half throttle. But the moment that the green flag cycle starts and everyone's on different pit cycles and strategies, that makes it enjoyable.
All right, Davey, go ahead.
Davey Siegel with Sirius XM. So when the tires start to kind of come apart, you're seeing what's happening, you're experiencing what's happening. What's the thought in your head? Are you like, oh, bleep, we're going to deal with this for the rest of the night? Are you excited about it? What goes through your mind?
You know, I was okay with it. I got really frustrated with the first tire race that we had last year because of the way that it was officiated. And you know, that yellow flag, when they throw the yellow flag in the middle of cycles, it dictates the race. And you know, that we had yellow flags tonight, but they were actually true yellow flags. And like that last race, they were throwing yellows for people that were blowing tires and riding around, and then all of a sudden they quit throwing the yellow. So if they just let it play out like they did tonight, then it's fair for everybody, and you just have to manage it on your own. And so, yeah, I mean, I thought that NASCAR did a great job of just letting the race play out, and they got a great product from it. And I think that's key.
And they ended up giving you guys an extra set during the race at some point, too. Obviously, Adam's focused on that. You're kind of just focused on doing whatever they tell you to do. How much discipline do you need, and did you show, do you think, in terms of going slower when you needed to and then going hard when you were able to as well?
Well, it's just about knowing the lap count and knowing you get information. So the first one, we weren't saving at all, or at least I wasn't. I'm sure most of the field were not saving, and I think I got to lap 45. So I'm like, okay, you know, he tells me that we got to make it to lap, whatever it is, 50, 60, 30. And if it's lap 30, you're like, okay, I can push the car a little bit harder. If it's lap 60, then it's like, okay, I can't push very hard. So, yeah, it's just about communication and understanding how long the runs have to be or are going to be in order to, you know, put yourself in position.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, Christopher Royaker, Skyview Sports. After Kyle Larson led nearly 900 of 1,000 laps the last two, you led 12 laps tonight. Would you rather snag a win or be dominant, or are you just glad to have a win, period?
Well, certainly I have been harping on my team about leading laps, and I think, you know, leading laps is a super important stat. And we didn't really increase that box very much tonight, but we increased the important box, or the more important box, of getting a race win. So, yeah, it just I thought that our car was capable of leading laps tonight. Just the way that the race played out, it didn't work out in our favor to do that, but it did work out in our favor to win the race, and obviously that's the most important goal. But leading laps is a super important thing. It shows your, you know, shows your speed, what you have as a race team, and we haven't been able to do that this year very well. So it's definitely a focus point.
All right, Mark, go ahead.
Mark Garrow, Performance Racing Network. Sorry, Christopher.
Where are you at?
I'm over here.
All the way over here. Gotcha.
Thanks again for the picture, by the way. So there's two ways to win a race. You blow everybody's doors off. You lead 450 laps like Larson, right? But how does it feel? How satisfying is it to win a race that was so chaotic, so crazy, that it was the spin of the roulette ball and just you had to be right place, right time, make all the right moves, but it still took a lot of other things for it to come out on top. How satisfying is it to win such a chaotic race?
I mean, I'll take it. A win's a win no matter what. But certainly, you enjoy those dominant days because you know that meant that you were the best car that day. And whenever the race plays out like it does today, it's basically impossible to have what Larson did, you know, the last two times. And we got really fortunate for sure. The race played into our hands, and the yellow flags and the timing of us pitting and putting tires on and the green flag runs following that, it definitely played into our favor, and we were able to capitalize on it. There's been plenty of times, and plenty of people will say the same thing where, you know, it plays into their hands and they aren't able to capitalize on it, and that's a bummer.
So is this a race you feel like you stole? I mean, just exactly how do you feel when you kind of sneak up and you don't lead a lot of laps and you wind up in victory lane?
I just think that the race played out for us. You know, it was a bunch of, or I don't know about a bunch, but a couple of fortunate timings with the yellow flags and green flag runs, and when you pit and when you put tires on, and smart strategy calls from Adam Stevens of not putting a set of stickers on in the middle of the third stage to make sure that we had some for late in the race. So I don't know if stole is the right word, but it's certainly, there were, you know, a couple other guys that were in the same position as me, and I was the one who walked away with it.
All right, we're going to take one final question. Go ahead.
Declan Wayman from Race Face Digital. Christopher, last year in 2024, we had a similar incident of the tire wear, kind of like in last spring. I mean, how did the tire wear tonight compare to when you first really felt the fall off of the tires, and what was it like comparing it to the spring race? I mean, obviously it got cooler later as the race went on, and I just wanted to gauge your opinion on how that compared to last spring.
I mean, honestly, I thought it was identical. It was the exact same. I know that the tire that we ran today, I think, was softer or was supposed to induce more wear than what the tire was that day in 2024. But it felt the exact same, and I thought it raced the exact same. So from that standpoint, I guess it was good. I don't know. I don't know that I would want this every time we come here, but it's different, and I don't know. It's definitely different.
Are you a fan of the tire? Do you like racing with it?
Well, I mean, it's so confusing because yesterday in practice, the tire, you wouldn't have even known that there was a tire change. And even with so this tire is completely different than the one that we raced in the spring, but yet the race ended up the same, but the practice was different. I mean, it just is, it's impossible to figure out, like literally impossible. So who knows? Who knows?
All right, Christopher, thank you so much for joining us, and congratulations again on that win.